Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Doujinshi, and welcome back to another episode of Hentai Reviews, the only series where we are slowly moving up on our horizons. Whether it be me, in my long quest to eventually review the finest, greatest, and maybe even all of the dirty things that they have in the world, including that of which we've slowly started to dip our toes into, whether it be ecchi-related anime or the more wholesome side of erotic anime, or of erotic, let's just say, anime. Either that, or even the prospects of the person beneath the mask, who is temporarily trying to figure out how the fuck to get into a high school, how the fuck to get into a college after it's been a little bit too long. So, and even yours. I see what you're doing out there. Keep doing it. Shit's getting good. Keep it up. So, today, we're going to be reviewing... Now, you see, episode 2 of it is very special because I really wanted to review this, but... holy hell. This is a story, alright. So now, after taking a little bit of time to figure everything out, I've finally got my review ready, and I am stoked to begin this whole thing. You see, the entire series itself is done by Bunny Walker, with about 16 minutes and 18 seconds worth of footage overall for this, relatively short compared to the rest of them, while also running at about 16 categories that are possibly used across the entirety of it, notable of which are maid, harem, and I'm going to call it the workforce because there is more jobs here than most places that I've seen. Hand, boob, foot, I don't know, just tons of jobs. Across the board. So, while we're continuing on this, let's go ahead and get straight into the plot of the whole thing, because this stuff does not waste its time. You see, in the last episode, we left off where the main character, this elder man, and was looking through part of the area, trying to figure out, pretty much anything that he can about this mother, daughter, and the maid of this entire thing, trying to figure out what were they doing? Whom the fuck were they? Why were they asking for each other to be impregnated by the lesser of the two? And why were there so many precautions on both sides? Well, you see, where we are starting off this episode is after the man reads and finds out what was the mother planning on doing, sacrificing her daughter to an eldritch being in the sky. What would that possibly be? Hey, what sort of entity could they possibly be going with? A rainbow light shoots by him, and he wonders, what the hell was that? So, he turns around to see that the door is open. The maid herself is watching and seeing what's going on. The man thinking, I can't let her know. Maybe she's working with the enemy of the one. Maybe even the mother, since the mother is clearly seen as the villain in this entire thing. So, naturally, I have to stop her, figure out what she knows. So he bolts through the door, which is where this first thing ends, where the first episode ends, and the second episode kicks off. You see, the second episode starts with him immediately catching her and binding her up in the typical spread legs and unusable arms area, which leads into scene number 1 as he starts to interrogate her. Scene number 1 starting at, and I will be putting time cards in them, right about now. 40 seconds in almost immediately it starts. 40 seconds and then goes to 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Pretty much ending with the entire time he's interrogating her, asking her, hey, do you know why everybody in this house is acting weird? She says, now that you say it, it is kind of strange the way that everybody's been acting. He's like, yeah. Do you have any insight on it? Well, the maid decides to share the public information of, hey, yeah. Every time a man is invited over to this house, she seems to be taking a large amount of pills that would be contraceptives that would allow her to not get pregnant. And he thinks, interesting. Since the daughter wanted me to get her pregnant, but the mother also wanted me to get the daughter pregnant, but the daughter is wearing a chastity belt covering only one hole instead of both. Because that would be a nightmare if it covered both, because then she would shit her pants. How the fuck does she take a piss if you're wearing a chastity belt? Do you get yeast infections on the daily? Is that how it works? That sounds like a nightmare. But nonetheless, he tells her, Well, she happens to have these contraceptive pills that she takes every time a man is brought into the house. But for some reason, she also has opposite pills that are immediately making you horny. Like, it's like the reverse stick, where it goes like reverse bonk, and then you just get the boner of a lifetime. But he convinces the maid, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to switch those up. I want you to mix them up so that next time that I go near her, she does in fact get pregnant. She's like, that doesn't sound unethical at all. I'm in. My job security means nothing. So, he convinces her of it, and they immediately move in. He goes over to the mother and says, hey, little mama, I heard you've been taking your horny pills. And she's like, what did you just say to me? And then he immediately starts going for it. Alright, as she's now into it way more than she used to be. Which leads into scene number 2. Scene number 2 starting at 4 minutes and 50 seconds and then goes all the way to 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Decent, as I can say. Hey, well done and beautiful. A plan executed perfectly. As the man immediately goes after the woman, he then thinks, well, now that I've finished my deed, I guess I better go report to the daughter, who I have not, gotten inside of properly. So he goes over to the daughter and declares his success with the mother. I fucked your mom. Now it's time for you to repay me. And she's like, of course, I'm a woman of my word. And then drops her chastity belt right there. Did she have the key on her? I don't know. Did she just slip off a chastity belt like it's nothing, even though it is made of metal and there was a giant lock around it that probably just kept smacking her every time that she, like, stood up? That sounds like hell on earth. How did she survive wearing this thing? So, she immediately gets down to business with the entirety of this third act, pretty much just being this sex scene where a few things start in. So, scene number 3 with the daughter this time starts at 9 minutes and 10 seconds and goes all the way to 14 minutes and 45 seconds. A noticeable thing that I forgot to leave out, even though it is an enormous plot point, mostly because I'm stupid. You see, the reason, after impregnating the mother, she notices something strange about her as her stomach gets filled up. Well, not her stomach. Fuck, I should have paid more attention in biology class. Uterus? I want to say uterus. After getting filled up with pancake batter, she immediately lies down and thinks, damn, as many rainbow lights start to come out in a circled halo around her, and then immediately goes into her. Fuck, now I feel like uterus isn't right. I'll look it up after this. I will figure out female anatomy. Damn boys being too hot for me to actually think about women. Nonetheless, afterwards, it then immediately goes into scene 3. Scene 3 I've already named, so scene 3 pretty much starts with him going for the daughter as part of their agreement. They end up getting together and going nuts, and as the daughter finishes her round, he then blasts one last part again, filling her up with pancake batter, causing her to become pregnant. And as soon as he finishes with her, the mother runs in and says, you tricked me. And he says, I am but a man of my word. Can you not see? And then he points to the daughter, pretty much dry heaving from or not dry heaving, but breathing heavily from her experience. And she's like, damn, you got me. I guess we gotta do it again. And then he gets to be with both the mother and the daughter. I don't know why that makes me feel weird when it's like a mom and a daughter. That feels like that's an awkward-ass breakfast in the morning. But nonetheless, after they continue forward with their whole escapade, it suddenly cuts to black after both women have been satisfied. But then it re-emerges, this time with the daughter riding on top of somebody. But she is also surrounded by spectral rainbow tentacles going across her entire body. What are they? Who are they? They're definitely related to that light that we saw previously and that went into the mother's... Fuck female anatomy. I keep forgetting it. But is this the end? I really hope not, because I want to see episode 3. That being said, the episode does end right here. So, Now that we're finished with the review itself, let's get into the actual 3 things I cover, which are the review. Damn, I messed up. But, nonetheless, let's keep going. You see, let's go ahead and talk about animation. Animation in this, well done. Specific moments of differentiating camera views that just show movement, and they show movement well as it continuously moves across it. Animation of this type has been shown before, but I think it's predominantly well done in this particular episode. Animation overall, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. Could be argued for a lower 8, but I do not think this is perfect animation for something of this quality. 9 out of 10, solidly. Characters and story, I think this is incredibly intriguing. The maid seems a lot less interesting, but she seems like she has more going for her. The plot, however, seems to be continuing forward with this mysterious light. Is it a ghost? Is it an entity? Is it anything at all? Is it just straight up demon? Because most Japanese media just turns things into demons, and I have no idea if they're thinking outside the box, really. But it is very intriguing for something that you would not expect to have a plot, such as, hentai. So, the characters and story themselves get a 9 out of 10. Once again, just a little bit lower, specifically for the way that the maid was handled, but if she redeems herself in the next one and they continue this force of pushing, it could definitely continue forward. It could definitely keep pushing. Now, that I've said that, let's get into what we're all really here for. The plot. You see, the plot in this is damn good. It is very safe for what it's doing, because a lot of the people are already just moving forward with how this is like vanilla, but hard vanilla. Like, you feel vanilla in this, but you also feel that it's a lot more wet around the edges, as like it's trying to be something else, but it just barely pushes the ring of vanilla, and it does it such a convincing way that you feel like you're watching something that's a lot dirtier than it is. But due to its safeness, it does not reach the 10 out of 10 space. Once again, stacking at a perfect 9 out of 10 across the board on the entire thing. The plot itself, 9 out of 10. So, how can I say this for the second episode? Very ready for the third episode, and cannot stress how much I'm waiting for it. That being said, that's where the review is going to end. 9 out of 10 across the board, 9 out of 10 it's going to deserve. It is a damn good series, and I am awaiting the next one. Now that we're finished with that, let's go ahead and, I guess, say goodbye. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm so glad you're sticking with my shitty schedule and how much I'm trying to fix it, but I'm not the greatest. Plus, I have a second channel that I'm uploading on. I'm not going to say the name of it because I want to see it grow by itself. If you recognize my voice, congratulations, you found it. And, yeah, I guess that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you everybody for being here. Stay safe, and try your best. If you don't like what's going on right now, it'll eventually get better. Hell, it did for me. 155 as of recording this. And thank each and every one of you for being here. I cannot stress how much that means to me. So, I have been the Doctor. Thank y'all for being here. Have a nice day. Don't be a dick, there's too many of them. And wash your fucking hands. I'm the Doctor. Peace.